Welcome to my channel. My name is Carsten. I'm trying to either review, ranking, or talking about music, and recently I have already reviewed Ken Hensley and the new saga Symmetry. But today the topic is ranking the studio albums of the US supergroup Eagles. So this is what I'm going to do. The challenge is, you might not like my ranking, but it's my personal view. So if you have a different view, please comment on this. But let's start. Eagles is the band I've seen most times. I saw them first time in California in 1972, and since then I've seen them many times in the US, in Germany, in Denmark, Sweden, and UK. I've seen them live 16 times and should have been going to the 17th concert in London last year, but it was postponed, so now it'll be in August 2021. So that's what. In 2016 Glenn Frey died suddenly, and many feared that it would be the end of the Eagles, but in 2017 Glenn's son Deacon was included in the band, together with Wens Gill, who most people know as a fantastic musician and songwriter. And with this lineup you actually hear them, this is not in the ranking, but this album, Live from Forum, shows the new lineup, and I think it's good. Hopefully these guys will go together and do a new studio album, so it doesn't take 28 years between studio albums, at least the last ones. So that's my hope. But this album, almost more than 2 hours of music, is really great, and Deacon Frey does a good job. But that's not what we are going to talk about here. It's about the ranking of the studio albums. Now the ranking. My number 7, because they only made 7 studio albums, although this year they have been a band for 50 years. They came out in 1971. So, but this is the first album, and I think it's the least favorite of mine. This is the long run. In 1979, I think the Bee Gees went out of steam, and it has too many lousy fillers like Disco Strangers and Greek Don't Want No Freaks. Long has started solidly with the title, with Don Henley in front, before the new bassist Timothy B. Smith sweetens himself through the R&B flavored I Can't Tell You Why. But it's not my favorite. Heartache Tonight is also a really decent number. The Sad Cafe is okay, but it's not my number 1. My number 6 is the self-titled Eagles from 1972. Here you got numbers like Take It Easy, Wish You Woman's, Peaceful Easy Living, and it's as a debut first album, it's quite good. Then in 1973 they did Desperado as a concept album. It's okay, there's a lot of good songs on it, but it's not, it didn't make it to the top. It should be based on how it was in the Old West compared with the smoking, doping life in California, and they felt like the radical cowboys in the Old West. But Tequila Sunrise is one of the tracks that is now one of the most beloved of this, and Bernie Leadon's Bitter Creek is one of the band's absolute best numbers. So in 1975 One of These Nights came out, and here you got, of course, the lyrics from Henley, and the title track is excellent. That's and the instrumental Journey of the Sorcerer was actually used as a theme music for the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But most of the songs are really strong. You can take Lion Eyes and you can take it to the limit as the showpiece of Randy Meisner. In 2007, this one came out, The Long Road Out of Eden. For many people this was a disappointment, which I don't understand. It has a lot of really good tunes on it. I mean, No More Walks in the Wood, How Long, Being Busy, Being Fabulous, The Long Road Out of Eden, 10 minutes and 17 seconds. There's really a lot of good tunes on it, and we waited 28 years to get it. I remember when I picked it up in a record store in Denmark. I was standing in line and they just pulled them out of the boxes. They sold about 400 within the first 2 hours of this album. Really, it's a solid album. Hopefully we don't have to wait 28 years for the next one. Now, my number 1 pick, number 2 pick is actually maybe surprise somebody, but I think Hotel California is their number 2. It's a fantastic album. I mean, you got a lot of very, very good songs. Actually, they have my favorite Eagles song, The Last Resort, on it, but they had Joe Walsh on it for the first time. So a very, very fantastic album, and it's the sales numbers tell us all. So far, as last time I looked, at the end of 2020, this album has sold 34 million times. That's a lot. But, and I will tell you later, it's not the most selling Eagles album of all times. The most selling Eagles album was this compilation of their best hits from 1975, I think, but it's 76 it came out. It has sold so far 44.5 million times, and it's actually selling about 500,000 copies every year. I mean, this is a lot of years after it came out. 45 years later, you're still selling 500,000 copies of an album. That's amazing. Now here's my favorite. It's On the Border. To me it's the most underrated album of all the Eagles. After Desperado failed to come into the top 40 in the US, Best of My Love from this album reached number 1 and put Eagles on the road to superstar famous and status. This album is more rocky as the earlier ones. I mean, you have numbers like James Dean. You got On the Border. Midnight Flyer is a Graham Parson tribute, and you get Don Felder to add punch to Already Gone and A Good Day in Hell. And on this album you also have one of my favorites, is the Old 55, because it reminds me of driving around on the freeways of LA in the morning before the traffic jam starts. But this is my number 1. Let me hear your choices. This is the ranking of the Eagles. 50 years in the business and only 7 studio albums. But hopefully we'll get number 8 before they go into retirement. Thank you, and let me have your comments.